For decades, the whole point of a sleep pill was, well, brutally simple, right? Just knock you unconscious. But what if that whole knockout approach was actually doing more harm than good? Okay, let's dive into the pretty wild evolution of how we treat sleeplessness. What if I told you that taking some of the most common sleep aids out there could be linked to a 79% higher risk of developing dementia? I mean, that is a shocking number. It makes you stop and ask, what are these pills actually doing to our brains overnight? And welcome to Sleepedia, by the way, a corner of the internet dedicated to the science of sleep and circadian rhythms. In this explainer, we're going to break down the dramatic shift in how we approach sleep medication, from, a blunt instrument to a precision tool. All right, so to really understand where we're going, we've got to look at where we've been. And for years, the absolute kings of the market were the so-called Z drugs. You've probably heard of them: Ambien, Lunesta, that whole crew. Their promise was simple, and man, was it effective. Take this pill, and you will fall asleep. So how do they work? Well, they crank up the volume on a chemical in your brain called GABA. And you can think of GABA as the brain's universal mute button. Z drugs just slam that button down hard. And it works. It makes you unconscious. But, and this is the million-dollar question, is being unconscious the same thing as getting real, restorative sleep? And wow, you can really see the difference here. On one side, you've got natural sleep. Think of it like a highly skilled maintenance crew that comes in every night for your brain, cleaning things up, organizing memories, the whole deal. But then you look at the Z-drug version, and it's just chaotic. It's not a maintenance cycle, it's a forced shutdown. So yeah, you're out, but your brain isn't actually getting repaired. And the thing is, the problems don't just stop when the sun comes up. Oh no, that mute button effect can linger. And that leads to this hidden danger that affects millions of people every single morning. Scientists call this residual sedation, and it's so dangerous because you might feel totally awake. You wake up, have your coffee, you think you're good to go. But get this. Your reaction times could be just as impaired as if you'd been drinking. Just think about that for a second on your morning commute. And from there, things can get, well, truly bizarre. See, because these drugs can knock out your consciousness, but leave your motor control switched on, they create this really weird dissociated state. We're talking about people who have cooked entire meals, sent crazy texts to their boss, or even gotten behind the wheel of a car with absolutely zero memory of doing it. This isn't just a quirky side effect. It's a serious, serious safety risk. Now, this risk gets even more severe for older adults, whose bodies process these drugs much more slowly. Just look at this chart. The jump in risk it's dramatic. A 70% higher chance of a hip fracture for Z-drug users. It means a simple trip to the bathroom in the middle of the night could become a life-altering event. And this brings us right back to that opening number. Why the dementia link? A leading theory is that by suppressing that restorative deep sleep, Z-drugs also suppress the brain's nightly cleaning crew. It's like the garbage collectors in your city suddenly going on strike. All this toxic junk, proteins like the amyloid beta linked to Alzheimer's, just builds up night after night. And on top of all that, there's the trap. Your brain is smart. If you keep slamming that mute button every night, it fights back. It starts turning up its own wake-up signals to compensate. So the pill stops working as well, and you need more. And if you try to stop, whoa, your brain is now screaming to stay awake, leading to this rebound insomnia that's even worse than before. It's a textbook vicious cycle. But what if there was a better way? What if instead of forcing the brain into silence, we could just gently turn off the noise? Well, that is the revolutionary idea behind a whole new much smarter class of sleep medication. The big breakthrough came with the discovery of Orexin. It's a brain messenger that acts as the master wake switch. It's the stuff that keeps you alert and focused. In fact, we know a lack of Orexin is what causes narcolepsy. And that was the light bulb moment for scientists. They realized, hey, if we want to help people sleep, this is the perfect switch to turn off. So instead of slamming that GABA mute button, these new drugs, called DORAs, do something way more elegant. They simply stand in the way of the orexin signal. They don't force you to sleep, they just turn off the stay awake command. And that allows your body's own natural sleep drive to finally take the wheel. This right here is probably the single best analogy for this entire shift in thinking. The old Z drugs are a sledgehammer, just brute forcing your brain into unconsciousness. But these new DORA medications, they're like gently turning off the light switch, signaling to your brain that it's time to rest. And this gentle approach, it doesn't just sound better. It leads to fundamentally different outcomes, both during the night and, crucially, the next day. The difference in the morning is just night and day. Where Z drugs cause that groggy hangover, DORAs are designed to be gone by morning. Where Z drugs make you feel drugged, DORAs help you feel naturally sleepy. The result is so simple, but it's huge. You wake up feeling rested, not like you're recovering. Of course, no drug is perfect. And while DORAs are much safer, there is a bit of a trade-off. Some users do report sleep paralysis, that brief, kind of scary feeling of being unable to move as you wake up. And because it's not a sledgehammer, it doesn't feel as strong. It really requires a mindset shift. You're being invited to sleep, not knocked unconscious. So this light switch approach has totally opened the door to an even more exciting future. We're moving away from a one-size-fits-all pill to something much more precise and, well, personalized.
Take Seltorexant, a drug in development. It doesn't just block all orexin, it specifically targets the orexin 2 receptor, which is heavily linked to the brain's hyperarousal circuits, the ones that go haywire in depression and anxiety. The goal here is to treat the insomnia and the underlying mood disorder at the same time. Now that is precision sleep medicine.
Then there's this hunt for the Goldilocks pill. A drug like Orexin is being engineered with a perfect half-life. It works fast, gives you a solid 7 hours of support, and is completely gone from your system by the time your alarm goes off. It's all about eliminating those next-day risks, especially for commuters and the elderly. And get this, it turns out this smarter approach does more than just help us sleep. It might actually help our hearts. Because orexin is tied to our stress pathways, blocking it allows for a 15% improvement in nocturnal dipping. That's the essential drop in blood pressure that's supposed to happen overnight. So these pills aren't just for rest, they're for active cardiovascular repair. But the ultimate frontier? It's something called pharmacogenomics. You ever wonder why one person feels great on a pill that makes another person a total zombie? Well, the answer is literally in your DNA. We can now identify genes that determine how quickly you metabolize these drugs. The future is a simple cheek swab that tells your doctor exactly which drug and at what dose will work best for your unique biology. So this really captures the entire evolution, doesn't it? We started with a brute force sledgehammer, we've shifted to the intelligent light switch we have today, and now we're heading toward a future where the right treatment is unlocked with your own personal DNA key. It's a remarkable journey towards safer, smarter sleep. And all of this leaves us with one final, crucial question to consider. It's a question that redefines the very goal of a good night's sleep. Are you looking for something to simply silence your brain for 8 hours? Or are you looking for something that will truly restore it? The answer to that could change everything.